The circus was more than a spectacle. It was a paradise for those society cast aside. Labeled as circus freaks, these individuals discovered acceptance and a sense of belonging in a world that often tried to push them out. So join us for today's video as we step back in time and reveal the 15 most unbelievable and amazing circus freaks you won't believe actually existed. Number 15. Len and Ernie Defort. Ernie Defort was born with a parasitic twin attached to his sternum. It is a rare condition that made him both a medical phenomenon and a sideshow curiosity. The extra body, which lacked a head but featured 2 arms and 2 legs, also had its own kidneys and a second liver. He was promoted as 2 boys with 1 head, and the twin was sometimes referred to as Len or Lester. Ernie's short-lived sideshow career was mainly confined to Canadian venues, where he attracted considerable public attention. But in 1942, as his health began to deteriorate due to the twins' weight, doctors recommended surgical removal. At just 12 years old, Ernie underwent the grueling operation. Though he survived miraculously, he spiraled into depression. He had grown emotionally attached to his twin. Eventually, Ernie came to terms with the loss and managed to regain a sense of balance. Despite the trauma and loss, he went on to lead a stable, well-adjusted adult life, one finally free of his second self. But reality always hit harder. Number 14. Otis Jordan. Otis, known as the Frog Boy, lived in a space between categories, neither a torso act nor fully limbless. He had arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, a condition that left his joints permanently bent. While physically restricted, Otis compensated with intellect and unshakable determination. He graduated with honors and earned a college degree through correspondence. In 1963, after visiting a local freak show, he approached promoter Dick Burnett with an offer to perform. Otis had mastered using his mouth and 2 functioning fingers, becoming skilled at appliance repair. Burnett was stunned when Otis lit a cigarette using only his mouth and immediately booked him. At first, Otis remained silent during his performances, letting his actions speak. Later, he added brief talks to his act, becoming more confident on stage. His tenacity transformed his condition into a respected performance career. Otis never asked for sympathy. He delivered skill, discipline, and something far more rare than limbs, total mastery of his life and story. Number 13. Anna Swan. By age 4, Anna already stood taller than most adults, measuring an astounding 4.5 feet. Her height continued climbing steadily. By age 10, she reached 6 feet 1 inch, and as an adult, she stood at a towering 7 feet 5 inches. At 17, she joined P.T. Barnum's American Museum in New York City. In 1865, the museum was engulfed in flames. Trapped by blocked stairwells, Anna, then weighing around 159 kilograms, was too large to escape through a window. Thankfully, she was rescued. After surviving the fire, Anna continued touring across the American West and later Europe, where she even performed before Queen Victoria. Her extraordinary life included a marriage to fellow giant Martin Van Buren Bates, a man nearly equal in height. Together, they were an unforgettable pair, remarkable not only in size, but in spirit. Anna's life was anything but typical, yet her calm strength and dignified presence made her one of circus history's most beloved icons. Number 12. Ruth Minion, the Penguin Lady. Minion's unusual body shape made her instantly recognizable. Born with phocomelia, her limbs developed in a way that gave her flipper-like arms, fingers fused, arms shortened. She also waddled rather than walked, earning her the nickname, the Penguin Lady. Minion embraced her identity by performing in a 2-piece swimsuit that highlighted her distinctive build. But she wasn't just a visual act, she played the marimba, a wooden African percussion instrument similar to a xylophone, and became celebrated for her musical skill. Her talent earned her spots at major events, including the 1933 Century of Progress Exposition in Chicago and the 1939 and 1940 World's Fairs in New York. Outside the spotlight, Minion had a personal life too. She married twice, first to a man named Largo, with whom she had a healthy child, and later to Earl Davis, known on stage as Hoppy the Frog Boy. They toured together for nearly a decade before retiring quietly in the 1960s. Together, they transformed hardship into harmony. Number 11. Tomaini. Tomaini, once promoted as the world's tallest man, claimed to stand 8 feet 4.5 inches tall, though Guinness World Records officially listed him at 7 feet 4 inches. Born into a family of 7 children, he began outgrowing his siblings at a young age. By 12, he had already surpassed his 6'1" father. Doctors later found that his height was caused by an overactive pituitary gland, a diagnosis confirmed through X-rays. His enormous stature led him into circus life as a performing giant. In 1936, during the Great Lakes Exposition in Chicago, he met Jeannie Tomaini, the living half-girl, who was born without legs. Despite their stark physical differences, they fell in love and were promoted as the world's strangest married couple. After retiring from circus life, they moved to Gibsonton, Florida, a haven for retired performers. There, at a place they called Giants Camp, the couple lived quietly, continuing their remarkable love story far from the spotlight that had once defined their lives. Number 10. The Elastic Skin Man. Felix Verla, famously known as the Elastic Skin Man, was born in Mount Ida, Wisconsin, in the late 19th century. At a young age, he realized that his skin could stretch and distort in ways that amazed everyone around him. His astonishing ability, which allowed him to extend his skin like rubber, turned him into a popular act in sideshows and circuses. It's believed that Felix's unusual skin elasticity was caused by Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a rare inherited disorder affecting connective tissue, making the skin highly stretchable and delicate. His remarkable talent became the centerpiece of his act, and he performed in dime museums and top circuses, including the famed Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. Spectators were mesmerized as Felix stretched and pulled his skin into impossible shapes. Despite his popularity, Felix's life wasn't without hardship. The syndrome caused joint pain and other health problems, making daily life difficult. He continued performing for years before passing away in 1933 in Laredo, Texas. Number 9. Frank Richards. In the early 1900s, American performer Frank discovered a bizarre talent during his service in World War I. He could absorb punishing blows to the stomach without even flinching. After the war, he joined the vaudeville comedy circuit, where people were invited to punch him in the gut for cash. The act quickly became a sensation as onlookers eagerly lined up to challenge his endurance. When the punches didn't seem forceful enough, Frank raised the stakes by letting heavyweight boxers, including world champion Jess Willard, deliver full-strength hits. Still, he didn't budge. He later escalated his routine by allowing volunteers to jump on his stomach and even withstand strikes from an 18-pound sledgehammer. Pushing his limits even further, Frank once took a 100-pound cannonball shot directly to the abdomen and somehow walked away unharmed. Audiences were stunned every time. His fearless, pain-defying performances made him a vaudeville legend, remembered not for theatrics, but for a stomach that simply refused to give in. Number 8. William Hutchings. William, widely known as the Boy Lightning Calculator, was a prodigious mental math expert who dazzled audiences under the guidance of P.T. Barnum. He could perform rapid calculations in his head, adding, subtracting, and multiplying large numbers instantly without using paper or pen. Hutchings became a featured act at Barnum's American Museum until it was destroyed in the devastating fire of 1868. In 1872, he performed his lightning-fast math skills at the White House for President Ulysses S. Grant, solidifying his reputation. After stepping away from the sideshow world, Hutchings shifted his focus to education. He later published a book teaching others how to apply the same calculation techniques that once made him a star attraction. His intellect wasn't just for show, it laid the foundation for a respected and lasting career. From astonishing audiences on stage to passing on his knowledge through teaching, Hutchings proved that intelligence could be just as captivating as any physical spectacle under the circus tent. Number 7. The Minnesota Woolly Girl. Alice Elizabeth Doherty was born in 1887 in Minnesota with hypertrichosis, which is a rare genetic disorder that causes excessive hair growth over her entire body, including her face. Often called werewolf syndrome, the condition produced thick, dark hair across her limbs, face, and torso. At just 2 years old, Alice began performing alongside her family in the circus, presented as a freak attraction because of her distinct appearance. She was promoted as the Minnesota Woolly Girl, thanks to her thick, wool-like facial hair that made her instantly recognizable. As a child performer, Alice was exhibited to curious spectators drawn by her condition. Unlike many others in the sideshow world, Alice's family, especially her father, was protective and actively involved, ensuring she wasn't taken advantage of. Outside of performing, she lived a quiet life, kept mostly away from the chaos of show business. She was known to be kind and approachable, leaving behind a legacy that felt more human than spectacle. Number 6. Johnny Eck. Johnny Eck, also known as the Half Man, was born with a condition that left his lower body severely underdeveloped. While he had fully functional arms and a strong upper body, his legs never properly formed and were mostly hidden by specially designed costumes. To many spectators, it appeared he had no lower half at all. Johnny became a major attraction in the sideshow circuit, celebrated for his agility, charisma, and incredible upper body strength. He could perform magic tricks, acrobatics, and illusions that stunned crowds. His act wasn't just about appearance, he was genuinely talented and deeply respected. Offstage, Johnny was artistic and independent. He painted, told stories, and lived with minimal assistance. After retiring from circus life, he returned to Baltimore, where he spent his later years focusing on his artwork and sharing stories from his life. He passed away in 1991, remembered as a bold and gifted performer who overcame physical challenges with unmatched creativity and spirit. Number 5. The Lobster Boy. Grady Styles Jr., famously known as Lobster Boy, was born in 1937 with ectrodactyly, a genetic condition where the fingers and toes are fused into claw-like shapes. The Styles family had a long line of members born with the same trait, and they had been performing in carnival sideshows since the 1800s. Grady joined his father's act at the age of 7 and quickly became a central figure in the show. But behind the scenes, his life was far darker than anything shown to the crowd. Using his powerful upper body to move around, he developed immense strength, but also a violent temper. He battled alcoholism and was physically abusive to his family. In 1978, he shot and killed his daughter's fiancée simply because he didn't approve of the relationship. Though he confessed, he avoided prison due to his disability and was placed under house arrest. In 1992, after years of abuse, Grady's wife and son arranged to send him to his creator. Number 4. Fanny Mills. Fanny, famously called the Ohio Bigfoot Lady, was born in Ohio with a rare disorder called Milroy's disease, which caused severe swelling in her legs and feet due to faulty circulation. Her oversized feet became the defining element of her sideshow act. She was billed as the Ohio Bigfoot Girl, and audiences were eager to see her unusually large limbs. Between 1885 and 1887, Fanny performed in dime museums and traveling circuses, pulling in large crowds. At the peak of her career, she earned up to $4,000 a week, an enormous sum for the time. Her act focused on displaying her feet and limbs, leaning into the public's curiosity. She became a clear example of how performers with rare physical traits turned spectacle into livelihood. Though the sideshow world was often exploitative, Fanny turned her condition into income and opportunity. Number 3. Ann Bevan. Ann Bevan was once a nurse, a devoted mother of 4, and deeply respected in her community for her strength and work ethic. But after developing acromegaly in her 30s, her body began to transform. Her jaw enlarged, her forehead grew, and her facial features became drastically altered. Caused by an overproduction of growth hormone, the condition changed more than just her appearance. It reshaped her entire life. After her husband died, Ann struggled to support her children. When she saw a contest looking for the ugliest woman, she entered, not for fame, but to provide. She won. From there, she joined a sideshow under that cruel title. Behind the posters, she was sharp, witty, and deeply resilient. She toured the country, appeared on postcards, and performed at Coney Island. People stared, but she kept working. She didn't let pity or mockery stop her. What made Ann rare wasn't her appearance, it was her grit. Number 2. Prince Randian. Prince Randian, also known as the human snake, was born in 1871 in British Guiana without arms or legs, a condition that made him one of the most extraordinary performers in sideshow history. Despite lacking limbs, he mastered using his mouth and torso to carry out complex tasks that most thought impossible. He could skillfully shave, roll cigarettes, and even paint, all using only his mouth. His agility and inventiveness in adapting to his conditions stunned audiences, earning him a spot in P.T. Barnum's world-famous shows. Nicknamed the human snake for the way he slithered across the stage, his act usually involved performing daily activities like rolling a cigarette or shaving with a straight razor. Spectators were left in awe of his self-sufficiency and cleverness. Prince Randian performed for over 4 decades, appearing in countless circuses, including Barnum's. His act wasn't just about shock, it was about survival and the will to go on. Number 1. Millie and Christine McCoy. Millie and Christine were born in 1851 in North Carolina, conjoined twins tied at the lower spine at a 90-degree angle. Born into slavery, their lives were filled with exploitation and struggle, but also resilience and achievement. As infants, they were sold and displayed as curiosities, passed from owner to promoter. After the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, they gained freedom. Their former owner, Joseph Pearson Smith, reunited them with their mother and ensured they received an education. Millie and Christine were taught music, dance, and multiple languages, and they became international performers known as the Two-Headed Nightingale. Millie sang alto while Christine sang soprano, and their harmonized voices fascinated crowds. They even performed for Queen Victoria. They embraced their condition, often saying, "As God decreed, we agreed." After retiring, they returned to their family's farm in North Carolina. In 1912, they passed away just hours apart. We really hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you in the next one.